All right, here we go with objective 32, determining the equation of a line from a table of values. So thus far we've talked about different forms for equations for linear equations. And so the first one that we talked about was y equals mx plus b. That is slope-intercept form. Another form that we talked about was y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And if you recall, that one is point slope form. And there's another form that we have seen, but we haven't really talked about by name, and that's this one here. ax plus by equals c. And that one we're going to call standard form. Notice that in standard form, all the variables are on one side, so the x's and y's are on one side of the equal sign, and then all the numbers, so c is just a number, is on the other side of the equal sign. So that's standard form. We would graph equations in standard form by finding the x and y intercepts. All right, so let's take a look at example 1. We'll skip the procedure box for now and we'll come back. Example 1, I've given you the table of values here, and I want to write the equation in point slope form. So in order to write the equation in point slope form, this one's pretty similar to the previous objective, objective 31, where we determine the equation from 2 points. So here we have a table of values. We can just choose any 2 points from here and then follow the same steps. So it can be any 2 points. I'll choose this one and this one. So let's go ahead and write out each of those points. So we have -2, -6, and we have 2, 14. So now this is exactly alike to objective 31. So let's label the points x1, y1, x2, y2. We're going to find the slope. So using our slope formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We can start plugging in our values. So y2 is 14 minus y1 is -6. So minus -6. x2 is 2, and x1 is -2. So minus -2. Well, 14 minus -6, that double negative, we can say add a positive. So 14 plus 6 is 20 over 2 minus -2, again, double negative. We get 2 plus 2 is 4. Well, 20 over 4 reduces to 5 over 1, or just 5. You can also divide 20 divided by 4. So that's our slope, 5. Now we can plug it into point slope form. So we're going to choose a point and take the slope and plug it into point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we're going to plug it in here. Our point we're going to choose, we'll just choose this one here, the -2, -6. So we have y minus, well, y1 is -6 equals our slope 5 times x minus x1. x1 is -2. Now this is in point slope form, but let's get rid of those double negatives. So y minus -6 is y plus 6, and we have equals 5 times, well, x minus -2 is x plus 2. So this is in point slope form. Now, you might have chosen the other point, 214. You might have even chose any of these points up here in the table of values. That's totally fine. Your equation might look a little different, but it's still correct. So you can put a little note in there, put a little star. Any point will work. So any point in the table of values will work. All right? So let's kind of recap what we did here, and we'll write that in our procedure box. The first step that we did is we chose 2 points, and we found the slope. From that, step 2 is we plug in the point and the slope into point slope form. And that was it here. Now, step 3, I'm going to put a star next to it because it's not always necessary, but that would be to convert to a different form if necessary. So if the question was asking to put it in slope-intercept form, then you would have to convert it to slope-intercept form. from this final step here, or if it asks for it in standard form. All right, so let's take a look at another example. Go ahead and flip the page. Example 2 says, determine the equation of the line that is represented by the following table of values. Write the equation in point-slope form and slope-intercept form. And for good measure, let's go ahead and throw in standard form, just so that we can see what standard form looks like. So we're going to find the equation of the line in all three forms. So step 1 is to choose 2 points and find the slope. So we can choose any 2 points. I'll choose these 2. So we're going to have the points 0, -5, and 2, -21. We're going to label those x1, y1, x2, y2, and we'll plug that into our slope formula. So we have m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So plugging it in, I'll draw our fraction bar and subtraction. y2 is -21. y1 is -5. X2 is 2. And x1 is 0. So in the numerator, we have a double negative again. We can say that's plus a positive. So -21 plus 5 is -16. And then we have 2 minus 0 is 2. So -16 over 2 reduces to -8. So that's our slope, -8. Now, step 2, we can plug it into the general form for point slope. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So we got to choose a point. Let's just choose this first point. So 0, -5. We're going to plug that into this equation here. So we have y minus y1. Well, y1 is -5 equals our slope, -8, times x minus x1. Well, x1 is 0. Let's get rid of that double negative. So we have y plus 5 equals -8 times x minus 0. So this here is in point slope form. And you could say that is just x, right? X minus 0 is just x. That's fine, but let's leave it so that we have point slope form. Now we want it in slope intercept form. So if you remember from objective 31, slope intercept form, we solve for y. So from here, we'll solve for y. We have y plus 5 equals -8. I'll go ahead and rewrite that. Equals -8 times x minus 0. Again, x minus 0, you can either just write x, or you might recognize the distribution here. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have y plus 5 equals -8 times x is -8x, and -8 times 0 is just 0. So you can write plus 0, or you don't have to write anything. And then in order to get it in slope-intercept form, we have to solve for y, so we got to deal with that plus 5 by subtracting 5. So we get y equals -8x minus 5. There's no like terms here, so we just tack it on at the end. So this here is slope-intercept form. And let's put it in standard form. There's just one quick step. Again, standard form is where all the x's and the y's are on one side, and then all of the numbers, all the constants, are on the other side of the equation. So right now we've got a y over here. We've got to move our x's over there as well. So in order to do that, we add 8x to both sides. So on the left-hand side, we have 8x plus y equals, and then the -5 drops down, so -5. And that's in standard form. All right, so now we've taken a look at each of the three forms, point-slope form, slope-intercept form, and standard form, and we have found them using 2 points and using tables of values. All right, so this is objective 32, determine the equation of a line from a table of values. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.